M.Dot Music on the track, man.
Yo, what up? This is M.Dot from M.Dot.music.com. You can check me out real quick at www.m.music.com. Join the list, get free tracks, network with other producers and artists. This tutorial is going to be about creating the default template for Reason 4. Basically, obviously the reason to create a template is to be consistent and have all your settings to start a new beat. That way when you start a new track, you just basically start from your point and you don't have to worry about setting new devices and so on and so on. This template is also going to incorporate some, we're going to create a drum track combinator. In that combinator, we are going to have some routing to send different sound elements to different type of processors, mainly EQs. This will allow us to better mix and be able to do more stuff when it comes to the overall mix. So therefore, it should improve your sound. This is just basically some of the stuff that I do. Obviously, you can explore and change it back and forth. Okay, so let's go. Okay, so you see we have an empty rack. So basically what I'm going to do is just go ahead and create, I guess at the top of the rack we could have a mastering combi. But basically all I'm going to do is, we're not using that for now, I'm just going to set a deep bypass. Again, your template, you want to make sure, you know, one of the rules of mixing is get everything to sound nice and good without any type of processing, especially in the quote-unquote mastering side or the final bus. And technically this will be the final bus because it's the last instrument processing before it gets to the virtual sound card. But anyway, so I'll leave it default and we're gonna turn it off. No tweaking, no changing and stuff like that. So from this point on, then I will create what I will call the master mixer, where the outputs of all the other mixers are gonna route to. So we take a mixer and we will call it master mixer. Like naming my devices, it comes in handy when you have large projects. So I have a master mixer. I always like to create some general effects underneath each mixer. I normally leave a slot open. Normally you can put 4 effects, and normally I will set this to my default stuff that I normally use, but in this case, so for speed up the process, I'm leaving it empty. The idea of this is that if necessary, and again very important to understand, if necessary, then I can have, I probably will say like a general reverb here, maybe a reverb with some echo and just some regular echo delay. I can create another type, but again this is only if I decide. At this level, rarely I will apply any type of these effects. I probably will be more general for where it's coming from. So anyway, so this is master mixer. From this point on, I will right click and create a combinator, empty, and this is going to be our drum track. Okay, inside this empty combinator we just created, I guess we will start logical and create another mixer inside of here, because we intend to route all the drum sounds to their individual channels. So I will call this drum mixer, and again I will go in here and create, in this case, just one of each, because again very rarely for drums go ahead and do anything. One thing I do add for my drum mixer is I put the scream. The reason why, and if you guys haven't used Scream a lot, Scream is actually pretty good for distortion, and they have saturation and warm effects, and also you know, almost like an 8-bit cruncher. So this will, in some cases, if you need it, will dirty up your drum sounds, and obviously you just pass it to this particular module. So I've minimized these because I like to save some space. So I obviously have the drum mixer, so we can go ahead now and create the red drum. Some people use the NNXT for drums. I use the redrum. Doesn't really matter. At this point I'm gonna go ahead and hit tab. Tab will actually flip the wrap over. The reason that I'm doing that, because I want you to see exactly what I'm doing from this point on. I will disconnect this guy because again, I want to route outputs directly to their own particular channel. I'm not going to do a master out. So if you hit shift, you get the capability of adding devices without it being auto routed, and we definitely need that for this case. So I'm going to select we have a couple of choices what we can do. In this case, I like doing an audio merger, and I'm going to do two, and I was playing why in a second. One merger is going to be for the kick, so I call it kick sub mix, and one is going to be for the snare. Okay. The reason why is that for a lot of hip hop and R&B and, you know, I guess production in which the drums are the main ingredient, there's a lot of stacking going on, and I think it's easier to stack in Reason, especially in Redrum. One of the reasons why I've used it that much. And what I like doing is, even though most of the times a particular beat would not, or the drums that I have might not require it to be stacked, I like to set up a process in which I have everything routed in a particular way that I don't have to flip stuff over and configure. So straightforward, what I would do is set 1 and 2 to be able to be triggered at the same time, and 4 and 5. The reason that I do that, those numbering, is because also it's easier for me to bang the drums on my MPD32, and also I guess you would set it up what's easier for you to do your kick and snare, because I'm the type of guy that when I do my drums, I actually play it out to the controller. I don't do the step sequencer. Anyway, so I'm assuming in my setup 1 and 2 will always be some type of drum sounds, and 3 and 4 and 5 will be some type of snare sounds. Might as well break down my missing numbers. I leave 3 as additional kick with no processing. 6 could be another snare if necessary, or some type of variation. 7, 8, 9 would be hats, percussion, or any other type of instruments in that drum sound in that type of family. And 10 is sometimes wide open. So in this case, what I would do is I would take the output of 1 and put it to the first channel of the splitter, and 2 in the first channel of the splitter. And now shift again, because we don't want anything to be routed. Basically what I want to do is we're going to create the processing pad for the kicks. So I will pass the kick first into an equalizer, and shift again, and then to a compressor. Go ahead right away and name these to kick EQ and kick compressor. And basically what you do is you take the output of the submix and you send it to the equalizer, and from the output of the equalizer will go into the compressor, and then the output of the compressor will go all the way up to the drum mixer. And what I do is I basically treat the drum mixer as a I guess an older type of mixer in which each channel will be left and right, so I pan it hard right or left. I only do this for my samples and for my kick and snare. Normally my percussions and other instruments already have that, but I found that it makes it sound a little fuller, so I go with that. So anyway, so if I flip this back by hitting tab, now you see I have the submix is going to the equalizer, from the equalizer is going to the compressor. I have some basic settings for drums and snares and the other types of drum sounds. Obviously obtain that by going to the web and looking at some bass configuration and also past experiences. I normally in EQ, I normally only subtract. I don't like adding an EQ, especially not in this particular stage. It's just basically to ensure that I don't have certain frequencies that particular sound shouldn't have. So a worst case scenario, I make sure I have a low cut because I don't need under 30 Hertz. And this will have all the settings in which I'm not going to set here because it's not part of this tutorial, and also the compressor settings. But you can get basics, and I will try to post those on my site later on. So anyway, I'm going to pause the video now, and I'm going to do the same type of process. And let me go back for the snares, and then when I come back, we will start talking about the